Hey everyone, my name is Cindy Burton. I'm going to be your instructor this week, and we're going to be learning several different things about cooking. So welcome to my kitchen, and let's get started. Tonight we're going to be making spaghetti. So hopefully everybody has their ingredients for this. I'm going to show you a little spin on it as well. So like with COVID-19 going on, wasn't able to send out all the supplies such as meat and things like that because of spoilage reasons. But you can definitely add meat to your spaghetti because I always add meat. I know you were just sent spaghetti, the pasta, noodles, and then the sauce. But I'm also going to show you how I do my meat sauce to go along with that. Okay, so if you have hamburger or turkey burger, people sometimes use chicken even, so whatever you want to use, you can use that. And we're going to be chopping an onion, a green pepper, and some mushrooms to go in there as well. But the first thing you want to do is you want to get started with your spaghetti boiling, okay? Because that's going to take, well, it takes longer really for the water to start boiling, about as long for the water to start boiling as it does for the spaghetti to cook. So I cook for a lot of people. There are 9 of us in our house, and often my daughter and her boyfriend is here as well. The moth is free, by the way. If you see the moth flying around here, actually I can get that little sucker. And so we're done with that. So the very first thing you do when you start cooking, always, is wash your hands. So I always like to do that the very first thing. I have my trusted antibacterial soap. Give my hand a good washing. And that's just important. I mean, you don't know where your hands have been in the last hour or so, so just clean them really good, and then you're ready to get started on your cooking. Okay, so I have, like I said, I cook for 9 people, so I'm going to be doing a big batch of spaghetti. And I'm going to use this big pot. And I'm going to bring it over here and start getting the water. And I'm going to fill that about, probably about 2/3 of the way up. Because I'm fixing 2 boxes of spaghetti, and I want to make sure that I have plenty of water. You don't want to start out with just a little bit of water and then have to keep adding to it. You want your spaghetti water to be, or pasta water I should say, you want it, you want to have plenty of it so that it surrounds your noodles, and you can stir it up a lot better and they won't stick near as bad. So we'll let this get about 2/3 of the way full, and we'll move it over to the stove, and then I'm going to put some salt in it after I get it over there. Okay, a little bit more. All right, that's about enough. I might have to add water depending on how rapidly it condensates, the water condensates, okay? And I just go ahead and turn mine on high, and because I'm not a flash cook, but I like to get my water to boiling fast. Okay, so I've got my water in. I'm just going to take salt. Now here is where you really want to be liberal with your salt, because this is the only time you're going to get to season this pasta. This is it. And the only way you season pasta is with salt. Don't put butter and oil and all that stuff in your water, because if you do, then when you put your sauce on there, it's just going to slide off, okay, because it's going to have that oil coating on the outside of it. So you just want some salt, and I do that pretty liberally. And then now we're just going to wait for that to boil. So I'm going to go ahead and put a lid on mine to speed up that process a little bit. And in the meantime, while we're getting that ready, while that's getting hot, I'm going to go ahead and start cooking my meat. And I don't know about you guys, but if you haven't been to the supermarket lately, or if you don't know much about the price of beef, let me tell you, ground beef has went sky high. So it's almost $5 a pound, and if you want the really good ground beef, you're probably going to pay a little over $5 a pound right now. So I have resorted, and it's also much better for you, to ground turkey. And my daughter got me kind of hooked on this a long time ago when she was I guess you'd say a semi-vegetarian. She would eat turkey and chicken, but she wouldn't eat any kind of beef or pork. So I would fix her turkey burger all the time, and I learned that you could put turkey burger in chili, spaghetti, vegetable soup, anything that you're going to have a sauce to help cover up the taste a little bit, because it does not taste like ground beef, but it's not bad. It's not a bad substitute if you've got good sauces to cover up some of that difference in the flavor. So I'm going to be using this. Now, one thing about turkey burger that you have to remember, let me get this knife right here, is that it's very lean, so lean. So I will have to put some oil in here too. And that little package there was kind of inflated. I thought it was full of blood, but it was full of air. Well, at least I didn't pay for that. I thought I was paying for water pack turkey. All right, so I got that in there. Now I have got a little meat thing here somewhere.
It's in the
Y'all, I got so much stuff.
It's in the drawer.
It's in the drawer. My husband keeps me straight. There we go. This thing here just keeps you from having to put your hand in it. Now, if you want to put your hand in there and tear that stuff up, that's okay too. Skin's very washable. You'll hear me say that 100 times. But I have kind of got used to this little thing. I do kind of like it to tear my meat up with, to begin with. I don't know what the name of this little thing is. I call it the meat grinder. I'm sure that's not the name of it, but that's the Cindy term for it. Do you know, baby, you know what the name of this little thing is?
Whatchamacallit?
The whatchamacallit. Oh, that's the whatchamacallit. That could be anything, though. Okay, and I've just got that on 5, so I might turn that up just a little bit to go ahead and get that going, and then we can turn it back down if it gets too hot. I'm cooking in a Teflon skillet. I can't really tell you a lot about it, to be honest, because I just bought these Teflons a few days ago. I did fix some fried cornbread in there today and worked really, really well. They're really heavy, got a nice heavy base to them. So I think I'm going to be pretty happy with them. I got really good reviews on them. I cook, all my pots are stainless steel, and I cook in cast iron a whole lot. So I really do like cast iron, but I needed something that we could cook eggs and just different things in. My cast iron, I don't like to cook a lot of like tomato-based sauces and stuff like that, because it will take your seasoning off from your pan.
I'll take it.
Okay, thank you. And let's see. Now, while that is heating up, let's go over here and let's go over here and get some chopping started. Now, hopefully, you got me at a good angle there, babe, so they can see what I'm doing. I can turn a little bit too.
Yeah,
how's that?
That'll work.
Now, a lot of people will tell you to not cut the root off of your onion when you're chopping it and stuff, but I don't know if it's just me or what, but I don't really have a big problem with getting onion juice in my eyes a lot of the times. Now, every now and then I'll come across a really strong onion that will tear me up, but most of the time I'm okay with it. So I just chop them both off because they're going to come off anyway. So I just chop the top and the bottom off, and then I just take my knife, make me a little slit down through there, stick my fingernails in there, and I peel that whole first layer off. Now, a lot of times people say, well, you're just wasting that whole layer. Well, I don't know. That way I don't have to wash it or anything, because that whole layer is off there, and it's just easier for me to do it that way. And it makes me feel better that if it was sprayed with any chemicals or anything, it's probably going to be in that top layer. Okay, so here you go. You have your top of your onion and your bottom of your onion. Now you can tell the top from the bottom if you get, I don't want to blur it too much, but you can see the core on the bottom. All right, that's what you want to kind of leave intact. So what I'm going to do with the core side up, I'm just going to take and I'm going to slice this onion in half, just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to flip them both down. Now again, my core end is what I'm cutting away from. Now, a quick little way to do this, you'll notice you got little segments here on your onion. Now, you can try and make a game out of it and slice into each one of those segments. And I try to do that. I don't never get every one of them, but what you do is go at a slant like that. And you want to cut back as far as you can, but not all the way through, because you want that core to hold your onion together. So I just go on down through here like this. And then when I get to the top, I make sure I go all the way through. Like that. And you gotta watch them fingers now. And I'm sure that chefs everywhere, if they watch this, they'll cringe and say, oh my word, she's cutting that the wrong way. But hey, this is what works for me. So, and then I just turn it to the side. Again, wash your fingers. You are supposed to curl your fingers in like that and kind of hold the onion with your fingertips. Always where you can take your knife and it goes down on your knuckle like that, okay? And that way you don't cut your fingertips off. Because blood and onions, they don't go together unless it's ground beef blood. Or in this case, I guess turkey beef blood. Well, it's not turkey beef. Then when you get to that last slice, I just chop it up like that. Now I'm gonna run back over here and check on my turkey burger, because it's starting to do something. Give it a good twist here. Grind it up some more. Now I have another thing, once I get my meat kind of broken up like that I like to use. And I'll show you that in just a second. It's a wooden utensil. So that's pretty good. This little thing kind of gets flimsy after a little while, and I don't like flimsy. So this is what I like to use. I have, as you can see, I got a couple of them. Me and Eldon we'll both like to use these, because you can just take them and just go through and chop your hamburger up. That other thing really helps take the most work out of it, and then this is just kind of like, if you want to equate that to sandpaper, that red one is like what would you call that, babe? A heavy grit sandpaper, and this is like the fine grit. This is where you're getting into the details and really chopping that up, because you don't want big chunks of meat in your spaghetti. I mean, yeah, if it's meatballs, but not really if it's supposed to be ground. I like for it to be a little bit finer. So I'll chop that up more as we go. Now, this is turkey burger. I probably wouldn't do this if this wasn't turkey burger, but since it's turkey burger, I'm gonna add some salt to it, because this stuff is a lot cheaper, but it needs some help with the taste. And so I'm gonna put some garlic, because I love garlic. We all love garlic here. We don't have to worry about vampires, because we all smell like garlic all the time. And I got some onion powder here. I'm gonna put some of that in there. You know, some of this is gonna come off with the juice in the turkey burger, so that's okay if I put a little too much. Alright, so I'm gonna let that cook for a minute and go back over here. Let's look at our water. No, it's not boiling yet. Go back over here. I'm gonna do this other onion. Okay. And let's see where my core is. Can you hardly see? There's my core right there, so I'm gonna go. I have my trusted sidekick in here with me tonight, my husband. He and I have been best friends for over 30 years now. And we've been cooking a lot of stuff together. All right. He's my cameraman and my go-to man. He also keeps me on track. Need to be honest about that. Okay, now when I have a big core, because this is the really big core. I just toss that because it's just not good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in a bowl. I have better luck doing it this way. And actually, I didn't even need a bowl for this because that really needs to go ahead and be in my, I'm getting that onion everywhere. It needs to be in my skillet because I need to be cooking that onion. So I'm just going to bring it over here, toss it on in here. And see, we washed our hands, so, because I use my hands all the time in cooking. It's what God gave them to me for, so I figure He meant for me to use them. Alright, let's let that start cooking. Put that in there. Now I'm going to come back over here. And I'm going to do my green pepper. Alright. Now, here's what I like to do with green pepper. I have really already washed this one off, but I did leave the sticker on. I just take the top off. And I take the bottom off. Because that way it'll set up a lot easier. And then you're left with this. And I like to just take my knife and just kind of go in and disconnect that. That is just held on. That whole core is just held on by little fine meat in there. Meat of the pepper. The pith is what I call it. And I like to get all that out. Okay. Now I'll keep these, but the other can be thrown away. And sometimes you'll have more seeds down in your pepper and you'll have to actually wash them off. And I'm going to actually wash this knife off a little bit. And I'll wash these tops out. I just see a few couple little seeds in there. Now I'm going to turn that meat down because it's rolling. Take that back down to like 4. My water's starting to boil, but I think I got time for this pepper. Okay. Now these, a lot of people just throw them away, but I mean, heck, we ain't rich around here. I like to use what I can use. Break those things out, and you got a little bitty thing right there. You can actually just take that little thing out with your fingernail. That's it. Use them hands. That's what God gave it to you for. Okay, and I just cut them up in strips like that. I'll do the same with this because I'm going to chop this here in just a minute. Okay, these are a little bit bigger than what I want. Okay. And I'm just going to... Now, I want to show y'all too, and I'll show you... Don't let me forget that, honey. I'll show y'all how I sharpen my knife. Because before you start chopping vegetables, I've already sharpened my knife today, but before you start chopping vegetables and stuff, you need to sharpen your knife. And we run ours through the dishwasher, and I know there's going to be a lot of people say, "Oh, Mom, you shouldn't do that." But we do, and but we always sharpen our knives afterwards. Okay. I'm going to just put that in there too. And really, I guess I probably should have had like all this chopped up and ready to go in with that meat before I started. And my water is boiling. I'm going to take that lid off. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn this water down just a little bit. And like I said, I don't know if you all have 8 ounces or 16 ounces, but 16 ounces is a whole box. Okay, you might have got rationed the 8 ounces because that's really a good portion for like one person. I mean, that'll feed like 2 or 3 people. But there's 9 of us, so, and we like a lot of spaghetti.
And we like vermicelli.
And we do. That's a good point, babe. We like vermicelli. Now, we also will eat thin spaghetti if we can't find vermicelli. But for the most part, we always eat vermicelli. It's thinner than the thin spaghetti. And I don't know, we just got to eating that a long time ago, and that's what we've stuck with. But thin spaghetti works really good too. Now, the regular spaghetti, we just think it's too thick for us. Now, when I break my spaghetti, and you want to be careful because I got some steam going on here, okay? But when I break inward to the pot. That way, when I got these little flyaways that's coming off my spaghetti, they're going to go into the water, not everywhere else. So if I break like that, they would just bounce everywhere. Then I take this hand, and it goes in one direction, and I take, oh, there's some flyaways. And I take this hand and put it in the other direction. Okay, and I just keep doing that, and I'm going to try to do this fast because spaghetti cooks rather fast, and it needs to all kind of get in there. And with a big old pot like this, I could just put the whole noodle in there, but I don't ever do that. Way every now and then. It's getting hot up in here. Now, as soon as you get that pasta in there, you need to work it through the water. Now, what you want to do, and can they see good in the top here? You want to make sure that that hot water is hitting all of that pasta because it will stick together really bad and you'll end up with a big clump of spaghetti that it'll be like glue and you will not be able to get it apart. But if you will do this in the very beginning of your pasta cooking, it will stay apart the rest of the time. But if it just cooks that outer shell just a little bit, then it won't stick to the other. Near as bad anyway. Okay, and you see how much water I put in there, and that worked out pretty good, but I might have to add a little bit more as that swells up. Because I got a pretty full pot of pasta. All right. And I like to bring it up and make sure that I don't have any stuck together. And if you just go all the way to the bottom, bring it all the way back up, like that, and shake it. Sometimes it might fall out. Pick it up. Like the fish that almost got away. All right, so now I'm gonna leave that, let that cook. Check over here. My turkey burger is almost done. I'll just throwing that stuff everywhere. And I still have some more green peppers and stuff to put in here, so I'm gonna turn this on down because I got more to put in it. And then I'll bring my cutting board back over here. Okay. And now we've got this part of the pepper left. And this part's real easy. The top part, it's got like those ridges on it. But this part, you just cut like that, roll it out. And then I just kind of press it down flat and do strips. Now you can do strips the other way too. I've did them both ways. This is really whatever mood I'm in. Okay. And let's see here. I've got blood. Cut myself a little bit. Nick myself. Well, I sure did. think I'll live. Alright. Make these little sticks out of these. And then I'm just going to turn them. I'm going to have to get me another napkin. I'm thinking about nicking myself, and I'm going to go ahead and stir this pasta again. Yeah, I got me one right here, baby. It should, it's just a little bitty nick. Of course, it wants to bleed. Big time. Yeah, I think I got to do it. All right, so I'm just going to turn these sideways like that, and then chop them down through here. Okay, same thing with these. And y'all be careful cutting. Watch what you're doing. I don't cut myself too often. I do try to be careful. They make gloves. I don't know if y'all know this, that they make gloves that you can use for cutting stuff. And I've been thinking about getting me a pair, especially for my kiddos, because they always worry me. I don't like for them to use knives very much. Okay. Got that in there. And then I've got these mushrooms. Now we are some mushroom eating people around here now. And I'm just going to wash these off a little bit. I need to get me a little colander. Let's see. Here's this one. And I always try to keep one side of your sink clean if you can. Lord knows I try. I don't always make it though. Just put them out like that. Now mushrooms are dirty. You don't want to just take them out and just use them straight out of the package, because they do not clean those things. You can see there's dirt all over these things, but it ain't nothing that the water won't just wash off. I mean, it comes off real quick. They get kind of slick. And you don't want to let them sit in the refrigerator very long either, because they'll get slimy, and then they're hard to deal with. Start turning really dark on you. These have been in there for a couple of days. Oh, stem's already out of that one. All right, we'll just leave that colander there. I should have got that big one, because I'm going to need it for that spaghetti. Drain some more of that water out. Thank you, baby. He's a good man. All right, let me check this pasta. I like to just go visit it every now and then, make sure we're still doing okay and we're not stuck in no big clumps or nothing. Just shake it down. And that's really all you gotta do. Just pull it up, go down to the bottom, get you a big bunch. Now don't hold it way up here, because when it hits that water, it'll slosh that hot water all over you. Okay, that's good. All right. I'm gonna cut these mushrooms up real quick. And I'm just gonna slice these babies like this, because they're real easy to cut through. I mean, you ain't got to, watch your fingers. That's what you gotta do. But you gotta do a lot of serious sawing on these things. They're very tender.
You probably do that with butter knife.
Yeah, probably. You almost could. You'd probably do better than this big shelf knife that I'm using right now. This Santuco. Is that how you pronounce that? Santuku? Santuku? I don't know. Anyway. Now, like I said, you guys do not have to be like, oh my goodness, I don't got no mushrooms, I don't got no green peppers, I don't have any onions, so I can't make my spaghetti. You totally can make spaghetti with just sauce and pasta. This is just extras. It's like extra toppings on a pizza, okay? You can have a cheese pizza, or you can have a supreme pizza. We're having a, let's see, we're having a semi-supreme spaghetti. About out of room here. I'm almost out of mushrooms, so I'm trying to squeeze it all in here. Now mushrooms are cooked down. That looks like a whole lot of mushrooms, but they'll cook down. They have a lot of water content in them. And air, really. They have a lot of air. Now, mushrooms too, guys. I don't know if you've ever been told this or not, but you don't want to go out to your front yard and start picking mushrooms and throw it in your spaghetti because you don't really know what you're getting out there. Make sure you're getting mushrooms from the store. Unless you know that it's a edible mushroom, you probably shouldn't take the chance of eating it. Because there are mushrooms out there that are very poisonous. And mushrooms out there that do crazy things to your head. Alright. I'm crazy enough. I don't need no shrooms. Are you saying uh-huh? You are, right? I think he's agreeing with me.
Oh, was I thinking out loud?
I think you were. Alright, so now that I got my mushrooms in here, see, I mean, I'm just going to be breaking those up too with my little wooden spatula here. And I'm going to cook these a little more because even though that meat is pretty much ready, these vegetables are not. And I'm going to turn that back up now that I've got my veggies in there. About 5. And let's see where we're at with our pasta. Now, here's the tricky part. When is your pasta done? Okay, so like, people differ on this. So, al dente is a little bit before this. So this is a little bit more limber. I like mine a little limber. I don't like it mushy, but I like it limber. And now, al dente has a little bite to it. So I just get me a couple of pieces. And I taste it. And it's not mushy, but I can bite through it, and it doesn't have a kernel, you know, like a real grainy taste to it. So I'm good with this. This is good for me. I'm done. I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna spit this up. You might want to watch your handles. Your handles might not be heat proof like these are. And then pour it through a colander. Now, you might want to save like a little bit of your water. I like to save a little bit of mine. And I don't like really drain this all off. Like, see, it's still spouting water. I'm just going to go ahead and put it back in here. Because you don't want that stuff to get dry. Because it gets dry and it starts sticking together. So I leave some water on it. Now right now, I'm just going to put this right here on this cutting board to keep it off the heat because it doesn't need any more heat. And I'm going to focus on this meat, getting it done. Now, if I were you and I wasn't fixing very much spaghetti, I would probably be using a bigger, like I would, you know, not have a very much meat in here, obviously. I wouldn't have very much spaghetti. And when I got my meat done, I would put my sauce in there, and then I'd add my spaghetti straight to my pan right here, okay? Because it just works better when you add your spaghetti to your sauce instead of adding your sauce to your spaghetti. But since I cook for a herd here, we have to use these big old pans, and I have a great big skillet, but it's still not big enough. Like, it's this size, it's 12-inch, but it's got higher sides on it. But it's still not big enough. No, that's fine. They don't. I mean, it's as round as this one. It's just more straight up sides, so it will hold more, but it doesn't even hold enough for our bunch. So I just do my sauce and then I pour it over my spaghetti. Like I said though, I do try to keep some liquid in my spaghetti because that stuff will lock tight together and there's no getting it apart. Now I'm just going to cook this until these vegetables soften up some. Because once I get this all together, since it's going to have the meat and the vegetables in there too, I like to let it settle for a little while. And I like to let the sauce marry up with the pasta. And I'm going to go ahead and put a lid on this and steam these vegetables a little bit. Thank you, babe. And that steam will help that cook a little faster and soften those vegetables up. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to show you, I'm using 3 jars of sauce, okay, for 2 pounds of spaghetti. I might could even use more, but I'm going to use 3. If it comes down to I need more, I've got another jar back there in my pantry. So, but I just use this cheap stuff, guys. I bought this at Priceless, and if it don't taste good, I know how to fix it up. But so, like, we can add some garlic and we can add some Italian seasoning and stuff to it to make it taste a little bit better. But usually it's okay. The cheap stuff's not terribly bad. I tell you where to get your best sauce at though is Save-A-Lot. Save-A-Lot has the best just mushroom sauce. I forget what the name brand of it is. I should know it off the top of my head. I've bought so many jars of it, but I don't think we have a jar back there, honey. It starts with an M. I can't think of the name of it though. Anyhow, that's so good, guys. It is better than ragu. It is better than what's that other one? Prego. I don't know. It's like the best sauce that is in my price range. I'm not paying $4 or $5 for a jar of pasta sauce. I'm just not doing it. I got too many people to feed, so that's way out of my price range. And besides that, like I said, spaghetti sauce can be made better, you know, by adding a few seasonings and things. A lot of times just salt makes it taste better because it's pasta. I mean, it's a tomato base, so anytime you do tomato base, you want salt in there. And a lot of times the companies will not put a whole lot of salt in there, you know, due to salt restrictions for people. And some people just don't like the taste of salt. But salt will bring out the flavor, enhances flavor in so many things, especially tomato-based dishes. All right, so I've got this. This is looking pretty good, actually. So I'm just going to set that to the side there. And probably just going to go ahead and turn this off. And yeah, thank you, babe. I'm going to use the same strainer here that I used for my pasta. No sense in dirtying up too. And I'm just going to take my pan and drain this out. Now, usually turkey burger is drier than this, but this was pretty juicy.
Green pepper.
Yeah, it could be too. You're right. It could be those vegetables sweating in there. All right, and I'll just put it back over there. Okay, and now this is, you want to get most of this off, okay? So I just hold it up and press. Keep pressing it out. Well, I can do it that way. I was going to put it all in the pan, but
Oh, wait,
it's all right. I can just put it all in the pot like that. Heck, it's all going to be going together anyway. So. All right, so that's most of that. And then now I've also seen people do ground beef if they're really worried about calories and stuff like that, fat, and wash their ground beef to get the fat off when they're doing that. And also too, you can, ground beef's one of those things that you can cook ahead of time, keep in your refrigerator, and clean as I go, and bring it out as you need it. So like if you had a great big package of ground beef, you can cook it all up. All right. Just pour them babies in. I like to get as much as I can. Taste that. That's actually got a pretty good flavor to it. Let's see. I'm going to stir this up with. Where's mine? Put that over there? No. Oh, here it is. I'm hiding back here. There we go. Now, guys, this, like I said, I'm feeding a herd, so yours is going to be different. It's not going to take you half the night to stir this up. Yours is going to stir up a lot quicker than mine is.
Just be sure to go down to the bottom.
Yeah, just go to the bottom and pull up. The bottom and pull up. You just keep doing that and it'll work that sauce through there. And you see it's sticking really good. That's a good thick sauce, really. So it's late at night here. We've already ate supper and we're just making this video. So this will be our supper tomorrow night, and it is already fixed. And spaghetti's like chili. It's one of them things that actually is probably better the next day because it's had time to really soak together. Get that pasta in with those noodles good, and get the sauce into the meat. And I might possibly add another jar of sauce to this tomorrow. I don't know. I'll wait and see what it looks like tomorrow. Right now it's looking okay, but depending on how much soaks up into those noodles, I might have to put me another jar of sauce in there. Because I do like it red. Now a lot of people too, in the way that I was actually taught to make spaghetti, is you don't put it all together like this. We started doing this when we had a house full of kids, didn't we, babe? Yeah. But before, we always cooked our pasta, and then we cooked our, just like tonight, we had our pasta, and then we had our sauce separately, but I would take the meat and put the sauce in that, and then we just take our pasta and put it out on the plate, and then take the sauce and put it over on the pasta. And that way, if you like more pasta, which I do, I like a lot of pasta, and not so much meat sauce. But Eldon likes a lot of meat sauce and not so much pasta. So it worked out really well for us to be able to manage what, how much we was getting. But this also works. It tastes really good and it goes a long ways. Well, don't go too far with your family, but
Well, if it's gone in a meat.
yeah, our family will eat this whole thing, guys, in one meal. I mean, they will scrape the bottom out of this thing. And this is along with bread, too, so we'll serve some rolls or something with this. All right, so I think I've got it pretty well stirred up. And that pretty much wraps it all up. Now I'm going to get me a paper towel because I am sweating. And I don't want y'all to see me sweating so much. You're not supposed to see me sweat. So it's hot in here, and where that pasta's been steaming and everything. But that's it. That is pasta. That's spaghetti in a nutshell. And I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, you can, I think you probably have my contact information, and you can contact me whatever ways they gave you. I don't know if they gave you my email, they may have gave you my cell phone number. So that's perfectly okay, because I'm here to help you guys. I know this is a weird way of learning for some of you, but I'm an online instructor, so this is not new to me, and I enjoy helping students, you know, from distance or face to face. So don't feel threatened by calling me or asking about any questions, because that's what I'm here for. I will see you all later.